What is up? Making sure these are all working. Does this work? Uh, what's what's up? TikTok and YouTube. Sorry, streaming in multiple places again and making sure that everything is working. So anyway, hi. This is my Friday AMA that I've been doing for the past. Thank you for the hearts already. That's awesome. So this is Ask Anything with a Photographer. You guys can ask me anything about photography, life, photography, business. If you want to know about my dog, like there, whatever, we can do that too. This is just fun. This is low key. Happy to answer whatever. Still trying to get things positioned. I feel like this is in the wrong spot, so that needs to come over. Okay, that's better. And then I gotta get. Okay, I feel better about that. Get this going. Awesome. So happy Friday, everybody. It's been a hell of a week. So actually, this full kind of disclosure on stuff. Makeup artist and I got stood up for a headshot session today, which is super annoying and super fun. This is actually a session that got rescheduled a couple of weeks ago. This actor had strep throat then and things. And, quite frankly, if you're sick, I don't want to see you in the studio anyway. So I was rather happy for her to reschedule then. However, today, day of the session, she didn't show. And, for whatever reason, she eventually got back with me and was like, oh, this happened and that happened and whatever. So I really don't care what happened because we all have phones. And if something had gone on, you can at least text us, call us and let us know, especially if you're going to know in advance, which considering what the issue was for, she would have known in advance. But onward and upward. And before anybody's like, oh, well, you just have to take deposits. I do take a deposit to book a session. That's not the point. The deposit is not nearly as much as I would make from doing the full session and selling images from said session. So it's better than nothing, but I split that with the makeup artist. So neither of us is having a $0 thing for our time. But normally when I do a headshot session, it's significantly more by the time you factor in images and everything. So it's an annoyance. I really hope that sound is coming through on YouTube. Do you hear me? Okay. Sorry if that's really loud. Sorry, trying a different mic setup for things. So anyway, so that's how my Friday's going. I'm not mad about it or anything. Life happens. No, I'm not inviting anybody to be a co-host. Bugger off. If I don't know you personally, you don't get to be a co-host on my live. That's absolutely not. I'm not just gonna let random people be a co-host on the live. So there was that. Did get some new images in today for a client that I unfortunately can't show you here because I'll get banned, but I've got a set of portraits from a recent boudoir session sitting in the other room ready to be delivered, which is super exciting. I always love getting the prints into the studio. Seeing everything on a screen is one thing, and absolutely love doing that. Seeing them in person, where you can touch them when they're tactile, it becomes a very different situation. Sorry if you all hear the people walking past my studio and just pointing in and stuff, which is kind of weird. Actually, just had a random guy walk into the studio today. We were getting set up for the shoot and waiting on the client. Guy just walks in, which never happens. So, I was like, can I help you? And he was like, I saw this as a photography place, thought it looked cool. So I just walked in the door and I was like, brother, that's awesome. Thanks for joining. I've got a client walking in. I can't stay and hang out. So um, there is that. Uh, Sorry, getting the so at least on TikTok, as I'm talking, it sends up like random notifications. Like there's a whole AI summary thing on like what I'm talking about, and it keeps flashing those things up on the screen, and it's a bit distracting. Um, you know, hello, hi, thanks for joining. Good to see you. So, other things going on in studio life right now. We're like I'm multiple people. It's a big marketing push right now. Really trying to dig into some things. Sorry for all the outside noise. Looking at what things have been working in the past, and then seeing if there's other things that I can do, um, and just really. So I'm going to be doing, and I don't want to dig deep into what the experiments are that I'm doing right now because I don't have results. But as I try some things and see what's working, I'm happy to report back on those and let you guys know how all of that is working. As I am blathering on, if you guys have questions about anything photography related, photography business related, not photography related, please feel free to ask as many questions as you like. The past couple Fridays have set the bar really, really high for those of you who are joining and watching these lives because the questions have been outstanding. And I've had a really good time answering those. Uh, I'm already talking enough that I have to hit the adult sippy cup. I feel completely ridiculous drinking out of this thing in front of other people, but as I've said in previous lives, this is the easiest way to track if I'm drinking a gallon a day. And my coach, my fitness coach, wants me doing a gallon a day minimum. So you know, it still feels like one of those Tupperware cups I had when I was a kid that had the little plastic lid and stuff on it. So there's that. And I've been getting back into doing more like vlogish kind of content as well. So like that's all showing up on the other platform with longer play stuff, but just some more like, day in the life sort of stuff rather than just photography tips and tricks all the time. I'm happy to do photography tips and tricks all the time, but with all this content creation stuff, doing something a little bit different just keeps it interesting. It's well, thank you, Snow Shutters. I appreciate that. Thank you for the follow. Um, yeah, it's like if you were to eat the exact same thing every single day, which is what I'm doing right now, you get bored with it. Same with content. you know, if I'm just making, here's how you look better in your selfies content, or here's why your headshot sucks, or whatever the thing may be. I personally get bored doing that. So doing something else is just keeps it fun. And if I'm gonna do content creation, it should be fun. Thank you, Snow Shutter says over on TikTok. Says I've seen your work before. It's very inspirational. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really hope that people get something out of my work and out of the content or whatever. Um, Lord knows, many times, this feels like screaming into a void. It's like it. If somebody was to walk past the studio window right now, they just see a big dude in a kilt just randomly talking to two cameras. So like not having anything to play off of in the room can be a little bit strange, a little bit funky. So Louisville. So the other thing going on here in town right now is like I expect the next couple of weeks business wise to slow down a little bit, unfortunately. And it's because it's derby season in town. As we get closer and closer to the Kentucky Derby, this town just kind of stops working, especially like the few days before. Like like it was starting like Wednesday through Sunday of Derby week. Like I should just not even bother coming to the studio. Now, if people book, I'll obviously come to the studio. Uh, but people just don't. Like people are going to the track and getting ready for Derby parties, and I've used your photos as inspiration when asked to do headshots. It's normal. Oh, you normally do well. Well, that's awesome. Thank you. I'm glad the headshots or the images help with inspiration. Thank you so much. Um, yes, I'm sure step parents will always call you a thing. My mother has a name that she still calls me, and I'm 48. Nobody else on the planet can call me that name. Um, but Ma gets away with it. But yeah, so like this town basically shuts down during Derby time. Um, so like I'll probably end up just taking the computer home during those times, and uh, I love your dogs playing poker. I don't believe I have a dogs playing poker. I have a dog back there. It's my dog, but uh, oh, I just got a notification that some comments in the live are filtered to protect the community's experience. Ooh, somebody's saying something saucy. No, interesting. Uh, I kind of want to know what was saucy. Uh, and thank you, James. James says my paintings always, or my photos always looks like paintings. Thank you very very much. Um, yeah, it's all in the lighting. I got a comment on a post the other day, and someone said, I really want to learn to edit like you, and to an IE to make it look like paintings. At the end of the day, with my style, how I do it, the edit is not as heavy as people think. Like all of the work, or the heavy lifting of that painterly look is all done with lighting. Like there's a little bit of work that I do in post, but a solid 95% of that painterly look um, totally comes with the way that I light it. No, I do not ever paint over my photos. I let the photos just be the photos. Um, and I typically lean towards a very big soft light, but there's a creator that we found each other on Instagram not too long ago, and I did a post describing what makes a photo portrait look painterly. Is talking about my process and the big soft light. And creator says, oh, interesting. I find that I do it with small hard light, and I looked at some of his work, and work is phenomenal. And I wish I remembered the creator's name off the top of my head, and I don't, because I'm a terrible human being. But he does beautiful work using like really hard light. Nope, no varnish on the photos. Nope, it's actually like 90% of the things on the wall in here. 95% of the things on the wall in here are just standard matte or luster photo paper. I don't do anything kooky with any of it. Um, it's I've tried some art papers and things like deep rags and stuff, and they suck up light so much. So I let the work do the work. No gimmicks. Um, TikTok asks, Snow Shutters on TikTok asks, who prints your photos? I've only used Whitewall. I use Bay Photo primarily. As of right now, my canvases are coming from ProPrints. ProPrints does a great job, and so I'm not going to speak ill of them. I personally don't love canvases. It's not my favorite medium. The ones from ProPrints look fantastic. I just personally don't like them. That said, some of my clients really like them, so I do offer canvases for that. One of the reasons wow, with the cart, holy cow! Sorry if y'all hear the noise. Um, one of the reasons a lot of my clients like the canvases, other than they just like them, they're also ready to hang, so they don't have to deal with framing and things. They're ready to go on the wall. Um, Again, I personally like a frame. I think it just adds to the piece, but I'm also gonna, if there's a specific sort of thing that clients want and clients want to pay for, I'm happy to make sure that product is here for them. So anyway, so this creator with the hard light for the painterly style portraits, it's really reminiscent of a lot of the religious pieces of art, um, and I love it. So it's now got me going. I should drag somebody in, not drag somebody in, have a friend come in and sit, and I should play with just some or play with some hard light, small hard light, and see what sort of things we can create. That's one of the fun, cool things about being an artist is going, oh, well, let's play with that, and how can that expand my knowledge and tickle that creative need all at the same time. So um, I nothing recently has actually done that for me, has made me go, ooh, I should try that. So I'm kind of excited to get that going. So I'm actually surprised there's no activity on YouTube as of yet, which actually makes me wonder if my microphone's working or if I'm just broadcasting dead air. So, and if any of you have questions, the questions that have been coming in so far are fantastic. If you have questions, please feel free to let me know. I greatly appreciate them. Oh, sorry if y'all just had to listen to me drink. That's weird. Um, and then I was going to say a thing and just forgot it. So, what about you guys? What are you shooting? What's inspiring you? What's making you want to go out and do more and put something pretty in the world? Just checking YouTube as you all type and see what's going on here. Over on TikTok, Snow Shutters asked, "Do you ever shoot in natural light or studio only?" I don't often go outside. Like I don't think I've shot anything outside in 6 years, 7 years, um, especially not like client work at all. Mainly because the weather's too unpredictable. So, um, and being an appointment-based business, I don't have time to deal with unpredictability. Like if it's gonna make me reschedule and cost me money, I don't do it. I do some natural light work in the studio. Like I have like you see the windows here. At least I think you do on TikTok. I have even larger windows over in the working side of the space, and I have a giant scrim in front of part of it, and then dual layered window shears over the rest of the window. So it is a big, beautiful, soft light that I do occasionally do, and you really can't beat big, beautiful soft light. Um, Most of the time, I'm working with my strobes, but I do occasionally um, go, "Ooh, this that natural light is so pretty, and it fits the scene and what I'm trying to do," and I'll go with that. Uh, so but most of the time it's, does the mood strike me? Am I inspired? That spur of the moment inspiration sort of thing. So uh, you primarily shoot on a Canon R6 and have a 150 to 600. That is a massive focal length variability. Most of the time, I shoot the Nikon D850 primarily. I have a Nikon D800 as my backup, and I shoot most of the time. What's on my camera is a 70 to 200. Um, so anywhere within that range, just depending on what I'm doing. The 70 to 200 really doesn't come off my camera. I've got a 50 mil as well, but hell, I don't think I've shot it in a few years. Uh, I'm not so yeah. It's a 70 to 200 2.8. I don't think I ever shoot at 2.8. I think like the lowest I ever go is 5.6. I'm shaky. So it can be really easy to misfocus just because I'm a big dude. I'm shaky. Um, so so that answers my focal length. So anyway, yeah, anywhere 72. Like headshots are typically done around 85. So ish. Um, just as a point of reference. How many lights do I use on a typical shoot? Typical shoot. So on a portrait boudoir shoot, it's typically 2 to 3. So key light, a fill, which is behind me, and then I'll put on my dark backdrops. I put one on the backdrop so I get some separation and kind of a nice vignette situation. With headshots, like my typical headshot setup, there's 5. So I have 3 as a key light sort of situation. I use like a triangle setup, and then I have 2 on my backdrop. If I'm going a little bit more moody, I could go down to 4. So I'd have 1 on my subject, 1 as a kicker over, to hit the jaw, and then 2 on the backdrop. Um, so, and that's it. I go, so I'm not a gear guy. So like once I find enough to do what I need to do, um I don't buy more. I don't need more. I don't need maintenance on more equipment. So I keep it pretty simple. But I have the portrait and the headshot setup up all the time so that if I'm working headshots with somebody, for example, and I go, oh, they'd be great for portraits, I can just slide them right into the portrait setup and not have to deal with moving gear around. I'm a big proponent, again, because appointment based business, and being as streamlined as possible. And so if I can move fast and create something pretty and make money all at the same time and make clients happy, then that's what I'm going to do. Uh, so yeah, so, fair, use the Friends 50 1.2 and like, yeah, like, I've shot my 50, like, I think I have a cheap 50, I think it only goes to 1.8. I've shot it at 1.8 and it was fine, um, but with what I do in the studio, I'm not looking for that kind of fall off, on the face, like, I kinda want the whole head. I don't want fall off until like the back of the head, if that makes sense. If there's even any fall off there, like I really want the whole thing to be pretty sharp. Um, and because I use painted textured backdrops, I don't want to lose any of the texture on the backdrop either. Like I paid for that texture. I want to see it. Otherwise it's just a brown backdrop or a gray backdrop. So that little bit of texture, I feel like gives it a little bit of life. Um, and then, but before I had the painted backdrops, I did all digital backdrops though. I would shoot everything on gray paper, and then I would add, my friend Alana Lee, at that point was making a bunch of digital backdrops. And so I did a bunch of those for a long time until I started buying painted canvas drops. And at the time I was using her digital ones, I was trying to keep budgets. Well, I'm still trying to keep budgets streamlined. Um, but I was just trying to keep revenue tight, so digital made more sense. Yeah, like a portrait's around 5'6", 6'3". That kind of does everything that I need it to do. Makes me happy. Um, I just got asked to go shoot some portraits for one of my biggest clients, and it's going to be group photos. So like whole family, like 9, 10 people in these photos. So for that, I'll be up F11, F16, whatever, because um, I have to be able to keep everybody in focus. How on TikTok here, YouTube, for you guys who can't see these, Snow Shutters ask, how did you balance work and photos in the beginning? Balance? What's that? Uh, um, uh, to me, it's all the same, right? Um, so it really wasn't a matter of balancing. So like if I was shooting to learn or shooting for content, I handled it no differently than if I was shooting for somebody paying me. I don't have a problem to this day bringing in a model and shooting for free if I'm making content, for example, because it's not really for free. It is, I take it as marketing dollars. Like I just had a model in here the other day. I was shooting the exact same way that I would shoot a client, and makeup artist was here, the whole thing. It was no different than working with a client, but it was for content. So, and because without the content, I can't show what I do. If I can't show what I do, I can't sell what I do. So I don't know if that really answers the question about balance of work and photos. If I'm not hitting that, please feel free to elaborate, and I'll go deeper. At f11, f16, how far do you push your ISO, or do you drag the shutter slow? No, because I'll be shooting strobe, so I'll still keep my shutter like at most likely in the 1/160th range. So I just really have control of the light. I'll push ISO. With the D850, I can get real. No, I'm not gonna have you be a co-host. Are you kidding me? Uh, with the D850, I can push ISO really far and not worry about noise. I've shot the 850 in one of the few weddings that I did many years ago. Many years ago, I shot the 850 in a crazy dark room and really had to push the ISO, and those images look great. So I don't worry about it at all. Um, I tend to, and for most of the things that I do, try to not blend light sources if I can help it. Like if I was outside, I might deal with more like blending natural light and strobe. But if I'm in an indoor situation and I'm not worried about the environment, then I try to not deal with mixing light just because I don't feel like dealing with the different color temperatures. Now, if I am worried about the environment, I'll make sure that I'm exposing for that as well. And um, yeah, so, but for this particular thing with this family where we're going to be, I'll just take enough light and I will light it up right, deal with the ISO. Um, should be in good shape. And what I will probably do as well, because I'll be in two different locations that day, is I'll try to go out the day before to both locations, and I'll set up lighting situations at both of them, get them dialed in so that when I'm coming in and working with the client, then everything's already set up and ready to go. Like by the time there's people anywhere around my camera, the last thing I want to be doing is thinking about anything to do with my equipment. So like once there's people around, people are the focus, and making sure they look good and that they're comfortable is the only thing that I'm focusing on. Good question. Thank you. And with those of you who have been joining, I see some new people in the room. This is literally ask me anything you want. So, I am a portrait boudoir and headshot photographer. Been running a successful photography business since 2013. So you can ask anything about that, business, photography, whatever, or anything else. I'm an open book. I'm on a fitness journey. I own a husky. My wife is amazing. So I'm a chicken dad. So any of those things are fair game. And if you ask anything I don't want to answer, I just won't. So feel free to ask away. I'm really surprised there's nothing on YouTube yet. Letting me down, YouTube. Holy cow. Those of you over on TikTok right now, like how much time do you all watch stuff on YouTube too? Like I've been making longer form content, like stuff for like client-based stuff, like, how to get ready for your headshots, blah, 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 that sort of thing, stuff that's valuable for clients to have. But then I've been doing some, vloggy kind of stuff as well, sort of day in the life shenanigans, just because it's fun. Do you all watch that stuff? I know somebody on one of these lives a couple weeks ago said she just really enjoyed watching that sort of vlogish sort of thing, like while she was doing computer work and editing, just so it felt like there was somebody else in the room. Uh, just interesting. I'm always interested to see what people watch and consume in their digital lives, and how many of you are making content on the reg as well. Because making content, I yeah, making content is a thing. I've slacked off on it the past couple weeks, just because I kind of hit a burnout phase. I had one post go insanely viral, which is weird. It's only like the second time that's happened to me, and I don't love it. Um, but because of how nuts that went, I found that it actually kind of burned me out a little bit. And I was like, I just want to step away from this for a week or so and just chill out. So sorry, it got hot in the studio. So now we're dealing with the bun situation. Y'all got quiet on questions. Holy cow. And that's okay. If it's just a slower week, it's a slower week. That's all right. I've been trying to do these Ask Me Anything like I think this is like week 6, 7, something like that I've been doing these. Um, trying to come on around the same time every day if I don't have clients in the studio. It's just been fun to kind of connect and talk. Gotten to the point of shooting for myself and not for yeah, you've got to do that from time to time. And I've been really okay. So YouTube, the comment over on TikTok was um, thank you for listening anyway. I greatly appreciate it. But the comment over on TikTok was gotten to the point of shooting for yourself and not for content, which you have to do that, right? Like, and I've been really bad about just creating for me. Actually, since I created the Three Graces, my version of the Three Graces, Lord, 2 years ago now that I did that project. And I've been so focused on just business. As the economy has gotten interesting, and I won't get political on this thing, but as the economy has gotten interesting, it's really changed up the amount of hustle that we're have to do to keep doors open, and so I've not really had time to to be like, you know what, I'm just going to sit down and just create for me, just to create. And I'm starting to feel that pull again to do something. So I normally when that happens, it doesn't last long, and I've got somebody roped into doing some sort of tomfoolery. Tried okay, so on TikTok it says tried to post weekly for a while, then it became very demanding once my 9 to 5. Yeah, it can the whole content creation thing can get really, really demanding and can take over. And if you just feel like a lot, a lot. So I always get really annoyed when I see any of the so-called social media gurus or whatever, be like, you've got to post 3 times a day. F all that, man. That's crazy time. I just really, post when you can, and try to be consistent about it. And consistent doesn't mean every day by any stretch of the imagination. If it's I can do, one 30-second post a week, one 30-second post a week it is. And hell, I hit a point where I'm like, I just got to do something. I have a template built in CapCut where I'll share like a quick behind the scenes clip of me at the camera, and then an image that I've created, just so I have something out there. So I'm keeping the algorithm happy, but it's really just low stakes posting at that point. The photo work as a side hustle for it. Yeah, no, I know there's a lot of people out there. There, there's times that I go, God, I should just make the photography thing a side hustle. Go get a actual job. But I would be a terrible, terrible employee. So, because I have been a terrible employee. How to create captions or photos in batch without sounding repetitive. That's hard. It's unless you've got the stories and things with it, and it depends on your personality as well. Like I know there are some people out there who can write these long poetic things and wax about biggly boo. Um, that's not me. Like, and if I try it, it just feels fake and contrived to me. It doesn't work. Um, you can go to AI and have it try to write captions, but AI captions are terrible. Um, they're just hot garbage juice. And no matter, I don't care what anybody says, anybody who's like, no, you're just not prompting it right. Bullshit. It just AI feels AI, and it does a bad job with captions. If you have the idea and like you can type your stuff out and go, hey, clean this up, that's one thing. But if it's like, here's the photo, write me it's a dumpster fire. Um, some photographers that I know, like my buddy Ivan Weiss over in the UK, um, he just does the person's name, the person in the that's it, that's all, and gets away with it. Now, a majority, as I understand it, and so I could completely be talking out of my butt on this one. A majority of Ivan's following on social is other photographers, so they're not really reading the captions anyway. Um, so um, yeah, and you'll see some of my posts where the captions are long and elaborate because I was just feeling wordy that day, and other ones where I'm like, "Here's the photo." So, try not to stress about them too much, because just you can't. Shit'll kill you. Um, well, yeah, I would hope an English major's captions are amazing. And Shackelford, Rusty, uh, says, "Tell us about the P38 lighting." I would love to tell you about the P38 lighting. I have no idea what that is, so I cannot be of any assistance to you, Mister Shackelford. Pocket sand. Um, so, but if you have other questions, and I can't even Google it right now because all of my things that I would Google with are being used to stream live right now. So 'cause I have YouTube going over here and TikTok going over here because I can't get a stream key to do it all at the same time. That would make life too easy. So, Mr. Shackelford, tell me what P38 lighting is, and if it's something inappropriate, then don't, because we don't do inappropriate things on this live. You're typing slow. So, all right, y'all. I tell you what, this week seems to be slow when we're not getting the questions. So I'm going to wrap this sucker up. I've got a bunch of video to edit, and I have a bunch of images to edit from the portrait shoot the other day. So I will be back next Friday to do this, unless I have clients in the studio. So if questions come up, save those suckers and bring those to me next week. I appreciate everybody hanging out. And yeah, go follow me on all the places. Go watch my longer form content on YouTube and like watch all of it. Like start the video and like let it play all the way through. There's a lot of good information. I think the vlogs are just a lot of fun. I think they're fun. Whatever. You may find them to be rubbish. And then if there's anything that you'd like to see me do in longer form content, let me know that as well. I'm happy to make things. If people are going to watch it, I'm happy to make it. So that is it. That is all. Thank you for all the hearts. Those help more than you know. Have a good week, everybody. YouTube. There are none of you here, but hopefully you watch this later. Cheers.